science in our country. Excellencies, as you all know, this year is an election year. On 7th December, the Ghanaian people will elect a new president and a new parliament. The term of the present parliament expires at the end of the year, and I'm in the last year of the permissible 8 years that a citizen can exercise the functions of president. The Akufo-Addo-led government is clear about its obligation and duty to ensure that the impending elections are conducted in an atmosphere of peace and security. I'm aware that last week's bipartisan passage by Parliament of the Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill on a private member's motion. I've said this before, and let me in conclusion stress again that it will not be under the presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that same-sex marriage will be legal. That same-sex marriage will be legalized in Ghana. It will never happen in my time as president. Let me repeat, it will never happen in my time as president. I've said this before, and let me in conclusion stress again that it will not be under the presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that same-sex marriage will be legal. That same-sex marriage will be legalized in Ghana. It will never happen in my time as president. Let me repeat, it will never happen in my time as president.
18th of March, through his secretary, Nana Beditu Asante, expressed certain views regarding certain matters before the Supreme Court of the land. Which letter today Mr. Speaker had cause to respond to. Mr. Speaker expressed his disagreement regarding the content of the said letter. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker went beyond expressing this disagreement and rather pronounced judgment on what in his view was wrong. Mr. Speaker, in certain situations would want to take questions. Please again, it is my position that we keep to the submission made so far without further questions. It does not amount to disrespect. Thank you so much. In certain situations so far without further questions.
In the case, just in case he has forgotten, that Parliament of Ghana is not an appendage of the executive arm of government. Neither is Parliament an extension of the office of the President.
I've said it and I'll repeat it again. Those who are coming to this administration thinking that it's an avenue for making a lot of money are going to be disappointed. They better go to the private sector. That is where people make money, not in government.
What has happened? If monies which should not be paid have been paid, 12 million is not small money, my sister. It's not small money. And we are taxing people. In fact, we are moving the country from taxation to robbery instead of to production that we were promised. Now we are robbing everybody. Even your money that you are using to pay them, they tax you on it. So this is robbery. We are robbing people and use it this way. I can't get it.
When we are supposed to be celebrating workers, we are celebrating a new tax imposed on them. And already there's a litany of complaints about the implementation. I've heard complaints of transfers of under 100 cedis being subject to tax contrary to the law. And I've heard others say that they sent 1,000 cedis and paid no additional tax. Clearly, the Ghana Revenue Authority and those responsible for this tax were not ready for its implementation. Government's desperation to tax Ghanaians to get this nation out of the hellhole it has dumped us will not succeed because government's own budget proposals show that the e-levy will not make any significant contribution in resolving our problems, but will exert an adverse toll on the people of Ghana. We in the NDC do not oppose taxation as a principle. We will not be pretentious and couch fanciful slogans to condemn the principle of taxation like the MPP did in the past. We are, however, implacably opposed to distortionary and burdensome taxes like the e-levy that only force Ghanaians to endure more suffering. A new National Democratic Congress government, God willing, and with the votes of the sovereign people of Ghana in 2025, will repeal the e-levy act.
Either we were doing this manually, but now there's a time for us to also be part of the global community, so we have digitized. To this end, the process of registration is digitized. That is, once we have an ID, the ID used to be TIN, taxpayer identification number, but is now moved on to a Ghana Revenue Ghana card. That's the Ghana card registration number. Is used in place of the TIN. But with time we first have the TIN for individuals. So use the week or month for filing of returns, because come 30th April midnight, that will be the end for 2021 annual returns for individuals and entities, unless your business period is different from 1st January to 31st December. Now, what is going to happen is that for now we have educating citizens or taxpayers or our clients for that matter to, instead of filling forms, to file this information that they have gathered so far, to do it with their phones or on their computer. In fact, you go to this portal, taxpayers portal, which you can download from Google Store or other media.
This country called Ghana and all the resources we have. Now, government doesn't even see anywhere to tax. They are taxing our electricity also. Tomorrow they will tax our water. And we are not going to sit down for that to continue. That's why I'm saying you are going to have baptism of fire. We need to fight it until this thing is cancelled. And that is the immediate thing. How can you add this to the problems that we have in this country? The lifeline they are talking about is just 30 kWh. 30. It used to be 50. They brought it down to 30. And if you consume, if you have 2 light bulbs in your house, 2, and you have television, and if you leave the television on for more than 5 hours, you will pay this tax. If you have fridge, you are out. You are going to pay the tax on the fridge. Why should this happen in this country? Tomorrow, if we don't resist this, tomorrow they will come and tax water. They will say there's a lifeline. This lifeline that they are talking about is 2 bulbs. Part of television, maybe half television. And if you switch on your fridge, you will pay this VAT. This law was passed in 2013. Why is it that all these governments have not implemented it? Why is it that we are allowing IMF to dictate to us to implement this law now? So, comrades, you have been elected at a time that there's a big fight on our hands, and we are going to fight it until we win.
Nana Akufo-Addo has made it very clear that his government is going to build a globally competitive economy. We have not really been thinking global, and this is what we need to do. That we have to understand that we are in competition with other countries, and investment moves from country to country, so we have to think global. And so, you know, the Nana Akufo-Addo policy, which he stated, is just basically to build the most people-friendly and the most business-friendly economy in Africa. This is the goal that we are going to try to do, the most people-friendly and the most business-friendly. The tax issue is a major issue, because if you are so, fixated on revenue, you will essentially end up hurting your production. And so if you go back into history, you study the economic history of United States, Germany, England, all of them have used the tax, policy to encourage production. And this is why we are saying that, today you have a situation in Ghana, unbelievable situation, when businesses are out on strike. Businesses who should be selling are out on strike. Why are they out on strike? Because they've been overburdened by taxes, and if you don't take care, you'll be chasing the tax revenue and killing businesses. And when you kill businesses, it means you are causing unemployment. And so if you go back, this is why Nana Akufo-Addo is saying, we need to mobilize financial resources. So why are you going to be imposing VAT on financial services? It doesn't make sense in a country which has got a very large unbanked population, and we want people to bank. We will abolish that, he says. We will abolish import duty on all raw materials, because that has been a policy that will help production. Let the businesses produce. Let them make profit. And when they make profit and employ people, we will get income taxes and we will get corporate taxes. So you don't go ahead to kill the business. No, let them bring in the raw materials, let them produce. Then you will tax, at the end of the day. And I think that you have a government where you have cutlasses being taxed, condoms being taxed, and even savings. There was a 1% imposition on savings, which was later withdrawn.
On investments, yes.
On investments, which was later. Even to think about it it's
been suspended.
It's been suspended. But even to think about it.
Oh, it's now abolished, is it?
Okay, good. Yeah, but even to think about it, it doesn't. It just questions who are making these policies.
But isn't it just another way?
Another way of raising revenue.
Well, yes,
but when you become desperate, this is what happens. That when you've mismanaged the economy into this hole, then anything sounds great to you because you don't have any option.
He'll bring it to bear. We are vice president. You head the economic management committee of the country. Into economic policies now will be driven by you, and also it will be directed by you. I know say he's competent in that area. He's got the focus. He's got the mindset. He's got the experience in macroeconomics, and even as a general academician,
the Ghana cedi has obtained the dubious distinction of being the weakest performing currency in Africa at this point in time. Interestingly, the NDC Green Book claims exchange rate stability as one of their unprecedented achievements. In an open economy with market determination of prices, exchange rate movements are the most important indicator of underlying macroeconomic fundamentals. As the saying goes, when in doubt, observe the exchange rate. The lesson from history for governments is that you cannot manage the economy with propaganda. In fact, you can engage in all the propaganda you want, but if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. The type of free fall that we are seeing with the cedi exchange rate is a vote of no confidence by market players in the management of the economy.
The economy is going to grow and grow and grow, and we will have jobs and jobs and jobs. This is the economy of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
We will eliminate import duties on sanitary pads to improve health conditions, particularly for girls. It's very important, but what we want to really do is to make sure we produce the sanitary pads in Ghana. Until that happens in their numbers, we are going to eliminate the import duties to bring down the cost.
Around saying that our manifesto promises are going to ruin the economy. I'm just so baffled. You, a president, you have presided in 8 years over the collapse of our economy. If you knew the plan that could work for the economy and be successful, why haven't you implemented that plan in 8 years? Why? If you know what can work for our economy, why is the economy collapsing in your hands after 8 years? You clearly do not understand the economic plans and underpinning the MPP manifesto. So your task is to make our economy work. You cannot do it, and now you want to say the MPP plan cannot work. You have essentially no legs to stand on in saying the MPP plan cannot work, because your own plan has collapsed the economy, and we are bringing a new plan for the economy, and a new plan that will work. It will work. We reduced taxes during our tenure of office. Corporate taxes were brought down from 32% to 25%, and at the same time we saw a major increase in tax revenue. Around saying that our manifesto promises are going to ruin the economy.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country, wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now. Government is broke, government is broke.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Well, it's a Thursday and it's the 21st day of March 2024. By His grace, we're alive and we're here with yet another edition of the show. Our gratitude goes to Most High God for the very privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly, but let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Ex Gratia, unfair and unjust. Scrap Article 71. Participants. $45 million pharmaceutical products locked up at port. Teacher union strike over conditions of service. Ghana tops all at WAEC Excellence Awards. Daily Guide. Backbench showdown. Parliament won't approve ministers. Professor Bernard Killer jailed 30 years. Chamber of Commerce endorses Bawumia's private sector growth policy. Election 2024, all 75,000 biometric devices intact. EC. Obua Judge most innovative CEO. The New Crusading Guide. Bawumia promises tax amnesty to businesses and individuals from 2025. Bawumia's tax digitalization agenda progressive. GCCI. Obua Judge most innovative CEO. Our BVDs are intact, Dr. Bosman assures. I'll serve you with dignity, Protozoa to constituents in Sum. The Insight, Election 2024, Care Ghana calls for forensic audit into 7 missing EC biometric devices. Stop the illegal demolition and displacement of innocent residents at Burumburam. Equam family petitions presidency. Illegal importation of rice, collapsing local industry, GAU. NDC set to initiate private members' bill to get e-levy. Other nuisance taxes scrapped. Ukraine, France all dressed up and nowhere to go. The Daily Statesman, new tax regime under Bawumia to boost private sector development. President to launch Ghana Smart Schools project. We're working to make Ghana ICT hub of West Africa. EC, our systems are secure. The New Finder, GNCCI embraces Bawumia's policies, suggests additional measures for consideration. Safe Water pushes for adoption of innovative water solutions. Teachers declare nationwide strike. Akufo-Addo to launch Ghana Smart Schools project. Daily Post, boot for boot. Speaker retaliates, suspends the approval of Akufo-Addo's new ministers. Minority demands police report on 7 missing EC biometric verification machines. 3 teacher unions declare nationwide strike over unresolved grievances. Momo agents threaten strike over GRA's double taxation on e-levy. There is no sector of this country today that is better than it was in 2016 when NDC handed power to NPP. Sami Jemfi. And that's about it. For the front pages, we'll be back shortly.
Welcome to Rehoboth.com. In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
For over 20 years of serving the world with herbal and alternative medicine, we've been successful in treating complicated medical conditions with a perfect combination of herbal and alternative methods of treatment like homeopathy, naturopathy, reflexology, and many more. We deliver excellent and effective service to people from all walks of life through scientific and traditional means. We have a well-equipped laboratory with advanced diagnostic and treatment devices to help detect your illness, so we know the right medication to be given. At Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we are proud manufacturers of our own herbal medication. Our zeal and passion to save lives with our patients at heart and outstanding achievements since 1996 has won us several awards. That is why we say, go herbal, go Amen. We are located everywhere in all the regions. Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the healer.
Hey, what's up?
How far with your internship?
To be honest, I'm so nervous about starting this new role on Monday.
Oh, please. I know you'll be great at it. You should be worried about what benefits they have. Example, do they have health insurance?
I doubt they will have that for internet. But no shaking. I have NHIS already.
Actually, I'm on a line.
Ina, look at you. What are you going to do in the office when you can just download the app to register for an NHIS membership?
Yes, my people. You heard right. You can now download and register your membership on my NHIS app. No long queues or tedious paperwork. All you need is your Ghana card to register for yourself and for others. Once you register, you get a new digital NHIS card on your phone. My NHIS app gives you access to credentialed health facilities and services across the country. NHIS covers over 95% of disease conditions in Ghana. Access to healthcare just got easier.
Now let me sign up quickly. Miss Seth, I'm starting work next.
Bringing you the start strong with your front two. You've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bets. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the partial daily jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This
advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, no under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway, get way more.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fat missy way.
The Pacho Bantama.
Matiasi.
A smile, the fresh breath.
Me Gidi say we use Cal 360 toothpaste.
Some kind.
Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's Kia. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Onim jom kasan.
Ile kosen. Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see feeling kika when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
The biggest car center in Ghana, offering unparalleled round-the-clock service in autos and accessories.
Nadam Autofix is the biggest distributors of used tires in Ghana, offering first-grade second-hand car tires of all rim sizes at both wholesale and retail prices. We are also the leading name in car sensor diagnostics, corrections and sales of car accessories. We excel in car washing and detailing with state-of-the-art steam engine washing machines that keep water away from your engine, ensuring a clean, healthy and responsive engine. Nadam Autofix, the first name in servicing, car accessories and car washing. Visit us today and experience the world of class difference. Find us today at Asoridaho, directly opposite Dansoman KFC and the Shell filling station. For more details, you can call us on 0503 244 266 or 0535 339823. Nado Motofix, Wukwain Sunyonko Papa.
Stop! Enough you guys, continue.
Prepare yourself to unleash even more moolah by staking from 1 Ghana cedi to 350 Ghana cedis, and you could win 26 times your stake on the exciting new Pick 1 game from Game Park. Play by dialing *946# on all networks via our website or download the Game Park app on www.gameparkgames.com. Choose your Pick 1 number from 1 to 36. Place your stake and watch our live draws on Adum TV at 9 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. daily.
Hey, live life like me with Game Park. Game Park, more moolah, more power.
This game is regulated by the National Lottery Authority, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly.
Introducing the new Jamal washing powder with multi-enzymes that helps remove stubborn stains.
It has a nice fragrance. Not harsh on my hands. Foams easily. And removes powder.
Yes, ma'am.
It really removes stains. It has a nice fragrance.
Yes, ma'am. Then add 30 sacks of Jama washing powder to your engagement list.
Hey, Jama.
Yes, ma'am.
New Jama washing powder for cleaner, fresher wash. Your partner for clean clothes. This advert is FDA approved.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana Live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning, I have the Honorable Dr. Dixon Adumaku-Kisi, who is the Member of Parliament for the Nya Sotum constituency. He is also a medical Doctor. Doc, good morning.
Morning.
Right. Also with me on the show this morning is a man who represents the good people of Saudai, but he's wanted from Ashedu Keteke to Yape Kusogu. He's a legal practitioner, and he's the Honorable Roxanne Nelson Eche Defemekbo. Honorable, good morning.
Add notorious to
Yes, Doc, good morning.
Okay,
And
so
Doc,
so you can tell from his Ray-Ban that indeed the man is avoiding eye contact with the rest of Ghana.
I think you should add notorious to his name.
Notorious Eche.
Yes.
Afoleke. Anyway, there's a lot to talk about in Parliament. There's a lot to really talk about. But I want us to watch this that happened in Parliament yesterday, and we'll find out how we got here. And of course, the majority also has a response for Mr. Speaker.
Be that as it may, honorable members, I also bring to your attention the receipt of a process from the courts titled Roxanne Nelson Eche K. Dafiamapo versus the Speaker of Parliament and the Attorney General, suit number J1/12/2024, which process was served on the 19th, that is yesterday, March 2024, and an injunction motion on notice seeking to restrain the Speaker from proceeding with the vetting and approval of the names of the persons submitted by His Excellency the President until the provisions of the Constitution are satisfied. Honorable members, in the light of this process, the House is unable to continue to consider the nominations of His Excellency the President, to use the language of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, quote, in the spirit of upholding the rule of law, unquote, until after the determination of the application for interlocutory injunction by the Supreme Court. Honorable members, this is the precedent that is being set by His Excellency the President for all Ghanaians to follow. So any matter that comes before Parliament, any Ghanaian can issue a writ and follow it with an application for injunction, and that is enough to injunct Parliament from proceeding with the consideration of the business in the House. Honorable members, I thank you all for your attention.
18th of March, through his secretary, Nana Beditu Asante, expressed certain views regarding certain matters before the Supreme Court of the land. Which letter today Mr. Speaker had cause to respond to. Mr. Speaker expressed his disagreement regarding the content of the said letter. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker went beyond expressing this disagreement and rather pronounced judgment on what in his view was wrong. Mr. Speaker did not only stop there, he also used very unsavory words to describe Mr. President. We believe that in a democracy, we have a right to disagree on views expressed, but we do not have right to say things to denigrate another. This, we think, is very unacceptable. Now let me get into the main issue. Mr. Speaker said that Mr. President was undermining democracy and that he should have resorted to the Constitution in making certain communications to the House. We in the majority beg to disagree on the position taken by him. If you carefully read the letter that was sent to Parliament, Mr. President limited himself to the processes before the court, and the fact that Parliament itself, through an affidavit, had joined issues. Parliament has filed an affidavit in opposition and is in court. In fact, Parliament is a party to the suit. So for us, we do not see how this would have to affect the proceedings of Parliament. In any event, Mr. Speaker has always deferred to the leadership of the House to guide him in the conduct of business. This morning, the leadership of the House sat together to discuss the various items to be taken. We have finished some of them. There were some that we were supposed to take, and we're told that Mr. Speaker would have to take the chair. It's very disappointing that after Mr. Speaker had made known his own views about the letter sent from the presidency to the clerk, he adjourned the House Synod without giving room for the leadership of the House to even comment. This we find very strange. But this is a democracy. We believe, as Mr. Speaker himself said, and I'll quote him, that this impasse calls for reflection. This impasse calls for reflection. I will play that out to Mr. Speaker himself, that we all need to reflect on the way forward as a nation. He said he was not going into the matter as that would undermine the outcome of same. But we all know that the very issue that was raised by Honorable Dafemepo had to do with the continuing ministers who had been reshuffled to other ministries. The issue of constitutionality of certain nominees had been determined by way of they going through the vetting process, a report coming before the House for debate and final decision. So for me, these are two unrelated issues. How can Dafemepo raise an issue regarding a minister who has been transferred? Let's put it in that state, that a minister in one ministry has been moved to another ministry, and the words used by Mr. President was that he has relieved them of their portfolio and moving them to another ministry. How does that affect a situation where a nominee has been referred to a appointment committee? Appointment committee has vetted that person, brought a report, and you say that there's an injunction application pending. Therefore, such a situation cannot be considered by Parliament. This is bad faith. This is bad faith. Because you have two unrelated issues being conjoined to create a certain political effect. But again, since this is a chamber where we will do public business, we believe that we need to reflect on these issues and sit together as stakeholders in this politics to get things done. We will rest our case, but before, let me also express disappointment at the conduct of the minority. Is it the case that they were aware of what was going to happen? Is it the case that they would always see no evil and say no evil? Is it the case that they are in support of this action to obstruct government business? They should remember that the people of Ghana are watching. We have ministers who are supposed to manage ministries, to conduct public business for the benefit of the people of Ghana. What the minority has done today clearly shows that they are not on the side of democracy. Indeed, they want government business to come to a halt through their conduct, because they were nowhere ready to get us to even engage, Mr. Speaker. They were ready to pack and get to their various cars and go home.
Condescending tone that is contained in his letter addressed to Parliament. We wish to remind His Excellency the President that just in case he has forgotten, that Parliament of Ghana is not an appendage of the executive arm of government. Neither is Parliament an extension of the office of the President. The Constitution of Ghana spells out in plain language when the President of the Republic of Ghana must do when Parliament passes a bill and present to His Excellency the President. The President must assent to the bill or must refuse to assent to the bill when it is presented to him as the President of the Republic. These are the only options, and in this case, there is no middle ground at all per the constitutional imperative. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also say that in the instance case of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2024, President Akufo-Addo has taken a strange and alien position, which is unknown to the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. Given that Parliament has been injuncted in a matter of the President's nominee for the position of ministers and deputy ministers, it is obvious that this Honorable House is also unable and cannot approve those ministerial nominees His Excellency the President has also presented to Parliament. At this point, the President may have to be innovative, dynamic, and think out of the box by downsizing the size of his government. Let me say that merely piling on numbers by way of appointing ministers and deputy ministers does not signal to the people of Ghana that the President understands the seriousness of the mess that he and his government has created in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also say that this may be a good time for President Akufo-Addo to listen to the feedback about the size of his government. At the very least, the two top political parties, namely the NDC and the MPP, agree to downsize government size the way forward. There is an urgent need to downsize the government in order to save the taxpayers from huge cost of running the government. Already, President Mahama has signaled that in his next government, he will not appoint more than 60 ministers. Interestingly, we are also aware that the Vice President, who was part of a government that appointed 125 ministers, has come round to also promise 50 ministers. So all what we are saying is that, may I ask, ladies and gentlemen from the media, what is the prudent justification for a Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance, which with 2 deputy ministers and a Minister of State? Again, why do we have the same ministers and ministers of local government, 2 deputy ministers and a Minister of State at the Ministry of Local Government? Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to conclude by saying that the Right Honourable Speaker has made an important call, a call for Parliament to unite against the autocratic tendencies of our president and this government. We in the NDC minority is ready to protect the sanctity of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And we stand with the Speaker of Parliament in this.
All right, so whether you want to label it as getting into the realm of absurdity, or somebody told me last night that idiocy for idiocy, whichever way you want to look at it, there is an impasse. Honorable Defumako.
Yes.
How did we get here? How do we wiggle our way out? Obviously, the minority and the majority are not in full agreement as far as the position of Mr. Speaker is concerned.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning once more, and good morning to my good people in Southern, Peki, Palik, Tongo. I think that arrogance brought us here. Arrogance, pure and simple. Arrogance in the sense that the basis upon which I triggered this matter had been raised over a month ago, because on the 14th of February, the president issued a public statement dismissing some number of ministers of state. In the Constitution, ministers of state also include deputies, and thanked them for their public service and wished them well in their future endeavors. Then he proceeded to make fresh appointments pursuant to Article 78 of the Constitution. And that being so, of course, will be subjected to parliamentary pre-approval process. Then the president, curiously, and I thought that it was an error. Initially, I thought it was an error in communication. Then the president, curiously, said he was reassigning some number of ministers to moving them from a supposed existing ministry where they were serving to new ones. And these were persons who also featured in the names of ministers that have been summarily dismissed. If you recall the letter, it was a summary dismissal with immediate effect. In fact, those who were in traffic, I knew two, who were in traffic that morning and were on their way to their office. And when they heard the news, they couldn't enter the office any longer. They had to look for another place to attend. In fact, they came to Parliament straight. They couldn't go to the ministry because they released it with immediate effect. I was told that some communication had gone, but they were not given an indication as to when exactly it will happen. So everybody was shocked that morning. Now, clearly, Article 81 came to mind, 81A, where a minister's position portfolio becomes vacant once the appointment is revoked, terminated, or relieved of the post. So I raised the matter that I want to believe genuinely that that was an error in miscommunication, so they could correct it and reissue a new statement stating that, yes, this number of ministers have been relieved of their portfolios with immediate effect. But these ones were not relieved of their portfolios and that will be reassigned. It never happened. So I move away from exercising caution on the part of the president to now confirming that that was truly the intent and that the president intended to actually read the Constitution without more. And truth be told, he sent names of the appointees to Parliament, the nominees to Parliament, without the names of these 6 persons. So I was compelled to proceed to the Supreme Court after 30 days. After the 14th of March, I called my lawyer and said, my brother, I think we should do this. So we began the process. Now, I think it's trying to interpret the use of the word relief by the president to mean that if the president said he was relieving those ministers of their portfolios it meant that he was moving them from their existing ministry where they were serving as ministers of state to another. But the error in that reasoning and logic and interpretation is that it was not only those 6 ministers who were relieved of their portfolios. In fact, there were about 23 in all. So what happened to the fate of those 23 ministers? They are home. They are no longer ministers of state. So we can all do politics. But it's my colleague. It's in the law, we are colleagues. We were in the same study group. We graduated the same day, started practice same time. And today is a leader. I am not. But we can't play politics with some of these legal constitutional matters. So that's by the side. Now, if you cannot, as an organ of state, Doc, you cannot antagonize one another. Look, the judiciary cannot antagonize parliament because there are constitutional interrelationships. When a Supreme Court judge is nominated, so when a person is nominated to serve on the Supreme Bench, the person will be brought to parliament for pre-approval. So that's interrelationship. When the president nominates somebody to serve as a minister of state or to occupy a constitutionally created office, the person will be brought to parliament for pre-approval. In the reverse, when parliament wants money, the money will have to be voted for by the executive and approved by parliament. So the executive would say, Parliament, this is the budget we are giving you for, let's say, 2024. Parliament will have to look at it vis-a-vis its programs and approve of it or ask for more. So Parliament too can be squeezed, so to speak, by the executive by not giving Parliament money to function. Now, when Parliament does its work, does anything at all, and there are disagreements, it is the judiciary, the other organ, that is constitutionally mandated to determine its constitutionality or otherwise. So the framers of the Constitution, these are the thematic frames underpinning our constitutional governance structure. So we are supposed to coexist peacefully and interrelate well and ensure cohesion of the state. Even if I have a problem, even if I'm a president and I have a problem with the work done by Parliament, there will be a more courteous way of communicating my misgivings. Indeed, what is the issue? The issue is that Parliament has just passed a bill into law, a bill that I and others have sponsored. And clearly, we went through the constitutionally provided procedure in doing so. But if the head of the executive has misgivings, he's also mandated under the Constitution under Article 106, 7, clauses 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, thereabout, to do what he has to do if he has misgivings. You cannot run the state as the head of government like a sole proprietorship. Because there are constitutional imperatives underpinned by timelines that within which you must take certain constitutional actions, constitutional directives, pronouncements, instructions. So we are saying that even if a person is aggrieved and goes to court in respect of an act, a function performed by Parliament, there are remediable steps in judicial remediable steps. So if Parliament, if the plaintiff, all right, in this matter, if the plaintiff feels the Parliament has taken certain steps that are contumacious of the powers of the court, that are contemptuous of the powers of the court, that will prejudice the outcome of the matter before the court. The judicial's remedy is you cite Parliament in contempt. Now, Parliament will be invited to show cause why contempt must not lie. This is how we proceed methodically in law to deal with some of these matters. Minus the executive, because the executive, it's not by accident or history why there are timelines placed on your mandate. Your mandate is for 4 years. So every day, every hour, every minute counts in delivering on that mandate. What is the issue? The issue is that a bill, which is yet to become a law, it's still before Parliament has been tidied up, done, is to be remitted to the office of the President for his assent in pursuance of
Transmitted.
Yes, that's what I mean, remittal. To be remitted to the office of the President for his assent in pursuance of the constitutional provisions. And you are saying that you cannot receive that letter. You can't receive a communication from Parliament. It's so petty, it beggars belief. Because you see, the Constitution directs you what to do when that happens. You can veto, but when you veto, it is subject to conditions. And Speaker eloquently related to those matters, so I won't belabor them today. But you have 7 days to write if you are taking one alternative.
So for the benefit of those who
yes.
watch Mr. Speaker,
okay,
you're talking about.
Yes.
If what you're saying is that the President is not bound to assent to a bill,
yes,
so presented by Parliament,
exactly,
and that the Constitution recognizes that,
yes,
and the Constitution dictates how the President should go about it,
exactly,
if he agrees to assent or disagrees to assent. Take us through that, so people appreciate that indeed.
Very well.
The Constitution provides for.
Very well.
Yeah.
Now, in Article 106, let me quickly deal with that. 106, where are you? Now, 106, Article 106.7 says as follows: where a bill passed by Parliament is presented to the President for assent, he shall signify within 7 days after the presentation to the Speaker that he assents to the bill. That's the first option. If he assents, within 7 days, he must write back to Speaker that, oh, the bill remitted to me for my assent, as the assent has been effected. So take steps to gazette it, number it, and then we can find timeline. The government will find timeline to implement. Sometimes it happens like that. They may even delay it for a couple of months before they implement. Or to the Speaker that he assents to the bill, or that he refuses to assent to the bill.
All right? With reasons.
Unless the bill has been referred by the President to the Council of State under Article 90 of this Constitution.
So what it means is that the framers of a constitution also envisage a situation where the President might want to consult further.
Exactly.
Before he assents.
Exactly.
So in that regard, within the 7 days, he can either assent, refuse to assent, or submit it to the Council of State.
Exactly.
So when he submits it to the Council of State, then it means that it can go beyond the 7 days.
In fact, I'll get there.
Please go.
Now, when it gets to Council of State, he will not merely refer the bill. The requirement is that he must propose amendments, because you can't say that you reject the entire bill. Even if you reject the entire bill, you must still propose amendment and give reasons why.
Okay, please read for us what it says.
Now, 8. Where the President refuses to assent to a bill, he shall within 14 days after the refusal, A, state in a memorandum to the Speaker any specific provisions of the bill which in his opinion should be reconsidered by Parliament, including his recommendations for amendments, if any. Or B, inform the Speaker that he has referred the bill to the Council of State for consideration and comment under Article 90 of this Constitution. Now, Article 90 has been referred copiously. So what does Article 90 say? Article 90 is to the effect that a bill which has been published in the Gazette or passed by Parliament shall be considered by the Council of State if the President so requests. All right, okay. 2, a request from the president for consideration of a bill may be accompanied by a statement setting forth the amendments or changes, if any, which the president proposes for consideration by the Council of State. 3, consideration of a bill under clause 1, that is 91 of this article, shall be completed within 30 days. So Council of State also has 30 days to revert to the president. After the third reading in Parliament of that bill, except that where the bill was passed under a certificate of urgency, the Council of State shall consider it and report to the president within 72 hours. You get it? Okay. Now 4, where the Council of State decides not to propose an amendment to a bill, the chairman shall, within 7 days, after the decision of the council, transmit the bill with a certificate to that effect addressed to the president. That's, they are returning the bill without any further comments. It's going back intact. 5, when the Council of State decides to propose amendments to a bill, the bill, with a memorandum setting forth the amendment proposed on the bill, shall be transmitted by the chairman to the president within 15 days after the conclusion of the consideration by the Council of State. So, you see the timelines fixed by the Constitution in respect of each of the scenarios.
So let me ask you this. Now, in this case, per the president's letter, and I'm restricting myself to the president's letter,
yes,
the president does not indicate that he refuses to assent because he disagrees with some portions of the bill, and is therefore proposing an amendment.
Yes.
He has not stated that.
Yes.
He says that he will not even accept it. It should not be transmitted to him.
Yes.
Because there are cases that have been filed in court. Now his refusal, if he accepts it, his refusal to assent, per what you read, the president would have to state his reasons.
Yes.
Okay. Now he says that don't even bring it to me, because you should know better that it is settled law that when you have those processes in court, the status quo
ante
must
be maintained.
Yeah. That's the president's point.
Yes. Okay. It's an absurd point to make.
Why?
Because the law does not contemplate absurdity. Let me demonstrate. For instance...
Can I come in maybe?
You come in, you will have your time. For instance, I am aggrieved by an action of the Chief Justice. So, I sue the Chief Justice. Then, as part of the reliefs, I seek an injunctive relief to injunct the Chief Justice from performing his constitutionally mandated functions until my matter is determined on its merits. Do you know the absurdity if that is upheld? Do you know what it means? It means the Chief Justice cannot even constitute a court to hear my matter. Meanwhile, I am before a court. You understand?
That would be stretching it too far.
No, that is not. Because you see, what the president has done is that an act of parliament, which is yet to be completed, is being held in abeyance.
Yeah. So let me ask you the question as well.
Yes.
If the president believes that the process in court should stop parliament from proceeding with the transmission, that's his belief. If that is his belief, and indeed the letter suggests so, that look, once parliament has been notified of the process in parliament, and as the majority speaker said, majority leader, said, parliament itself has filed an affidavit in the said matter, that it is settled law that everything concerning that particular matter must cease, which then means that the issue of transmission should cease until the determination of it. And in the opinion of the president, it's settled law that parliament itself ought to appreciate that once you are aware of this and you have even filed an affidavit, you should halt all processes until it has been resolved, settled law. Yet, Parliament decides to do otherwise.
Yes.
What could the president have done under the circumstance?
Okay. What the president would have done is that the president ought not to have gone into such an absurd interpretation of the law. An absurdity because, I'll give you another example. I am presently in court against Parliament.
But what I just want to find out
yes,
is that
yes.
in an event like that, what can the president do?
The president must accept the remittal.
And if he accepts, how does he communicate the fact that, look, there is settled law, you have been made aware, you have filed an affidavit, you should let the status quo ante remain?
Now, you have provided the answer. So the president will receive the remittal containing the bill and acknowledge in the language that you just said that I hereby acknowledge receipt of the bill number this in respect of this legislation. However, as you may be aware, there are 2 actions pending in the Supreme Court regarding the status of this matter. So in the spirit of upholding the law, may we all abide the outcome. This is how you communicate.
And is that what the constitutional provisions provide?
No, it does not. That is not what the constitutional provision provides. But it's a better way of communicating your grievance. If you appreciate what I'm saying, it's a better way of drawing attention to matters that are sub judice to the issue. Then, because the Constitution didn't provide the procedure when this spring into life, we have recourse to case law. Because these matters, Supreme Court have had cause to pronounce on them. For instance, in Amanda Audrey versus the Speaker of Parliament, the court says you cannot injunct Parliament from performing its legislative duties. You understand?
Does the legislative duty include the transmittal?
Yes, it does.
Okay. All right.
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Okay.
So
in the Amanda Audrey case, the case was at the second reading.
Exactly.
When she sought the injunction.
Yes. When our committee brought the report.
And the Supreme Court was of view that you can't stop Parliament from doing their legislative work.
Yes.
So your application is premature. So go off.
Exactly.
Now you're saying that the transmitter from Parliament to the President is part of the legislative
It's part of the legislative process. In fact, it does not, every President assent does not complete it.
Okay.
It cannot, a law passed by Parliament, properly edited, transmitted, and received presidential assent still doesn't make it a law, properly so called. Until the clerk, so it will be remitted back to the clerk. It goes through a certain journey. The clerk will now have to gazette it for 21 days. When it is gazetted, the law must be numbered by the clerk to Parliament. Then it will now be launched into implementation. It is only then that it can be given effect of law, properly so called. So as it is half-baked. We are just, the brain
now,
is half-baked.
I find something interesting, and after that I'll come to you, and then when we are done, we now look at the way forward. Okay. But something interesting happened, and I said I should have read the Attorney General's opinion. Yes, I didn't have the opinion as at the time we were discussing it yesterday. But something curious. In listening to the speaker, I heard the speaker make the point that he's seen the AG's advice. And the AG's advice to the president is that he should not assent until the determination of the
final
matter.
determination of the matter.
Now,
however, he should receive it.
How does the president then rely on that advice to decide not to receive it and warned Parliament to cease and desist.
Okay, let me put it this way. The president rather ignored that advice, because an advice, when taken, would suggest that it's been taken and acted upon. The AG's advice to the president was rather ignored. So they took an executive decision, discarding the legal opinion of the AG, and used executive powers to unscrupulously threaten Parliament that don't even venture, don't even try, don't even come near here. All right? Stay in your legislative tower with your bill until there's a judicial pronouncement on the matter. So the AG gave the proper direction, like I have enunciated, that receive the bill and indicates why you are hesitating in giving assent, so that we can trigger other constitutional processes which will be based not on provisions in the Constitution but on case law. So case law would have given direction that once the court will pronounce otherwise. So you cannot injunct a constitutional office holder from undertaking his mandate under the Constitution. The government falls in our favor. Then the state will be able to account for what they've collected under the e-levy. That is how the things work. That is why when, for instance, Parliament passed the new NACOC law, if you recall, Doc, when we passed the new NACOC law, and President gave assent to it, and a young lawyer felt aggrieved. In fact, a young lawyer proceeded to the Supreme Court based on instructions from his client and tackled the law and says one particular provision lack constitutionality because of A, B, C, D. The court listened to him and pronounced that the law is irregular, but that provision is irregular. And so,
call yesterday a Black Wednesday for Ghana, in the sense that many things, as he said, has led to what happened yesterday. Quite an unfortunate thing. But a few key things I want to point out, and I'll pray that people can appreciate what this is all about. Today I heard the president say one key thing, that he feels that there are major issues in the country, and that at the crust of all of this, that Ghana was not going to make this our agenda. Now, the NDC has always been almost comparing e-levy to the LGBTQ thing, but I beg to differ on the point that the e-levy was cabinet decision and was brought to Parliament for us to go through it and agree on some numbers or disagree on some numbers and then return it to the executive. So the origination of the two things are different. A private member's bill and then e-levy. Now, one of the key bases of a private member's bill, which has to stand the test of time, is a cost on the state. And that element can never be discounted. Cost on the state. Whether foregone earnings in economic parlance, where money you would have received you don't get, or money's due you. And in the case of these two things, the president has to prove to Ghanaians that none of them are injurious to the country. So the two are not the same. The origination are not the same and should not be held to the same level in terms of the enormity of something that originates from cabinet and something that originates from a private member's bill. Now, one very important thing is that there are prescriptions and timelines, and I believe in it. And the Constitution rightly prescribes what happens, consequence of one thing. And I think Dafino Apo has explained in very illustrative ways how a presidential assent or non-assent can happen and all the other things in between. One thing is quite clear in my mind as I listen to all of these things that have happened, is that it appears to me that the president, for this particular decision, Parliament has had its way. President feels strongly that this particular bill, he would prefer that there's an input of the judiciary on this. And what I mean by the judiciary is the Supreme Court. So that I think in maybe bringing his...
Convinced by what you know at this point,
yes,
that if indeed these were the views of a president, the Constitution had clearly provided for the president a path to communicate same.
That is where we may differ, you know, from executive standpoint, and the communications need clarity. I agree with you on that, but we would wait and see how the president maybe communicates it. But I think that in principle, what I gather from all of this is that the president would wish to incorporate into his ascension or non-ascension what the Supreme Court thinks about this. Now, yesterday, there's this adage that two wrongs don't make a right. And I always stand by that two wrongs in terms of the legal, technical issues. But at the end, his actions were so far from the illustrative, elaborative legal rendition he gave. And that for me is inconsistent. And my worry is that as a student of the Speaker, because we all also look up to him, he made his assessments, made a case for why a case in court should not stop you from doing your rightful duties as an executive arm and as a legislative arm. And then he goes on to say that, be it as it may, he will stop what the legislator has to do because of a similar thing. And that is where I think he's been very will disrespect Parliament. The president will not disregard the function and role that the Parliament or the other arm of government does. And I thought that agreeing or allowing the Supreme Court to also weigh in on this issue was rather showing that, listen, there are three arms. Legislative arm has had their way. On this particular issue, let's also hear what the Supreme Court also has to say, so that all three arms of government will have input in this matter. I think that the president was abiding by the laws of the country and actually doing the one key thing, which is forbearance. And I believe that for the country's sake, the key word, forbearance, for the country's sake, tolerance, for the country's sake, and at this point in time, we've hijacked sick and the afflicted, and the gender ministry don't have a substantive minister. And is it in the interest of this country or the ordinary man that key governmental functions, and I know in the heart of hearts, even of the NDC, that they know Ghana cannot do without a health minister. And I'm almost down in tears. And yesterday was, like I said, a black Wednesday for Ghana. in the sense that we've held to ransom very key governmental positions because of this one is maybe two big elephants fighting. I don't know if I would still, with a great of respect, call Bagbin an elephant. But in simple parlance, two big elephants are duking out. And the average, me, a parliamentary MP, the fair report to MP, we are at the brunt of this, unfortunately, and disrespecting Parliament, because I don't see it that way. I would.
It is disrespectful?
No. My key point here is that was not the intention. The president.
Not about the intention, but
the president by no means.
You are a member of Parliament.
The president by no means.
You are a member of Parliament. You agree that the transmission is part of the legislative work of Parliament. Do you?
100%.
Okay. So, if the president writes to Parliament, and first of all even describes your legislative function, you abiding by the constitutional provisions as far as your legislative functions, as an attempt to present the document, first of all.
And I think Bagbin rightly said that. And then he says he's done it 3 times.
And then he ends up saying that by that letter, you are to cease.
It's a prayer to Parliament. He's praying to Parliament that we hold off on transmission. I think that the choice of words may be, but it was a prayer to Parliament to hold off until we get the input of the Supreme Court on this case.
Which input?
So I believe that, when I say input, is that a determination of the cases in the
injunction.
Supreme Court. Yes. And I think that you are right in saying that the choice of words may be, but I believe that the president was, as it is, making a prayer to Parliament to hold off until. Now, the other key thing here, which I need to be guided by, is that something unusual happened yesterday. And I need our viewers to appreciate the fact that since I've been in Parliament, to close us and to end the session, Speaker usually would say minority, majority leadership, the way forward. Now, yesterday was unique in the sense that we had tabled other things to attend to, including a $150 million facility to help with our forex exchange in this country. $150 million, in addition to, it's an IDA facility. And I was hoping that, if not at all, of all the things, taking that decision would have helped us in terms of the dollar rate, which we all Ghanaians are crying about. And in addition to our business-friendly environment, there was also another item, and it is tax exemptions for businesses who are bringing heavy equipment. Some of them are for the roads we are all crying about. Some of them are for, agro-processing. And that one too, we didn't attend to.
Cease and desist.
For this country. Because taxpayers put us there for one key thing, to make decisions at the crust of it all in the interest of the ordinary Ghanaian. And one particular one, like I said, is the $150 million facility.
This thing,
and
$1.2 billion.
We are crying for 300
The 600
million.
and 600, 1.2 billion.
Yes.
The fact that we are not paying our debts. and all the tax revenue, it has not stabilized the city. It's $150 million that have stabilized the city.
Listen, in finance or in local parlance, yes, it will be you understand? So I'm hurt by the fact that the business items for yesterday were not attended to. And to bring on board new, fresh ideas. And you know, Afenya Markin yesterday said one thing that, listen, it so much appears that the NDC or the minority largely wants to not help government business. And I think there's an iota of truth there, because in one breath, NDC was also screaming that President should bring on board fresh people for his government and should reshuffle. At least, that was what they were saying. The President has now reshuffled. If even there's a query about the 6, a lot of them have been vetted and were ready during this break to go and work heavily, assiduously in the various functions. Especially, like I said today we've held Ministry of Health in ransom, in limbo. And I know that FEMAPO has nothing.
What do you say to this? Is it never the case that,
like I said, may. I didn't say shall. Okay. You know, so I'm not saying that the speaker. That's why I said usually. I was using my words very careful here. Usually, and in fact, I was anticipating, you know, Ato Forson to give a summary of some sort, and then also anticipating Afenyo Markin to give a summary and to wish us well whilst we're going home. I mean, and then Speaker would put it all together and wish us well, either in a fatherly manner or in a number 2 manner. But yesterday we didn't have that. I mean, yesterday was like I was like, wait, is this a movie or is this real? You know, where Speaker spoke and at the end he just uses his empowered authority to just end us and put us off to Easter. And I must say, I mean, this Easter will not be the same Easter. I was carefully. I mean, legal school ultimately is about cost-benefit analysis. And I think that we are being more injurious to Ghana. In the words of Afenyo Markins, we have stopped government business and we are not helping.
Okay. I've just been informed that we have the minority leader, Dr. Kessler Tufosin, on now.
Okay.
Where? Yes. Now. So no. He's joined us now. Yes, I've just been informed. Okay. So let's just take him on and then we'll get back to the discussion. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Randy.
How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you very much. Let me clarify some few points that has been raised by our colleague with you this morning, Dr. Kusi, and also to clarify some points that has been raised by the majority leader. Randy, it is important for the people of Ghana to understand that is going to be done, not too late, but we intend to close early. And so that understanding was established. Again, it was our understanding that on that day, the outstanding businesses will be taken, even if the businesses has been advertised, and obviously those businesses, there are reports to back them. So we went to the chamber early, agreed on that day, we started about 12, businesses were taken. The only business that was outstanding had to do with the IDA and that of the IDAs in particular. So the IDAs had to do with a loan facility of $150 million that the government of Ghana intends to take from the World Bank. But this IDAs in question, something fundamentally was wrong with the IDAs. not long ago in the year 2022, when we probed further, $65 million of an amount that was supposed to be used for the dredging of Odo and others, and the stilting of certain key outlets in terms of culverts were used for the purposes of COVID-19 chop. We requested them to give us the breakdown of what they used the money for. And it was found out that the money was actually used for things that no one can be proud of. In fact, simply put, for corrupt purposes. Let me say this. We asked the members of the Finance Committee working with the members of the Works and Housing Committee to visit the site. For some interesting reason, the members of those committees decided not to go because apparently they are aware that they are not going to get what they are supposed to. Apparently, the ministers and the government decided not to encourage them to go to the site. So they did not go. And the agreement was for them to visit the site and bring a report to the House. So at the time the Speaker was going into the chamber, the report from the Works and Housing Committee dealing with the concerns that the House raised were not available. And so there was no business as long as we were concerned. I've heard them also talk about tax waivers. Let me say that the tax waivers were never advertised on the business statement. It was not in Parliament records that Parliament was going to take the tax waivers for that day. In fact, these are the tax waivers that the NDC minority has raised serious issues about. Tax waivers amounting to $449 million. They came back telling us that because of our insistence, they have reduced the tax waivers from $449 million to $331 million without any proper explanation. The tax waivers concern that we are talking about were not advertised. The Finance Committee never met on it. And I was surprised to hear that the majority leader and some MPs are saying that the Finance Committee had met on it and a report was ready. When was that? I'm a member of the Finance Committee. So no meeting has happened. It has never been tabled before Parliament. It has never been tabled before the Finance, for some interesting reason, decided to sabotage government business. There was no business. Simply put, the government had no business for the day. That was what it is. And nobody should create an impression that the Speaker, for some interesting reason, decided to sabotage government business. There was no government business in the first place. The IDA loan was not ready because we had raised serious issues. We think it's a corrupt deal. We think that deal should not even make its way to Parliament. We have seen so many things. Randy, I won't speak on that matter now. I will wait for that report to come back to the House when we resume. And then Ghanaians will see the extent of corrupt practices that has gone on in this administration since 2017. It stinks and it's bad.
Now,
but in the meantime, let no one create an impression that the Speaker of Parliament has sabotaged government business. The government simply does not have business for the day. And that is why Parliament decided to rise sine die. Simple.
Now, Leader, there is definitely an impasse in view of the letter you received from
the Supreme Court. Must first sit on the so-called injunction and clear it. The injunction on the reasons why the president has said he's not going to sign. The Supreme Court must urgently clear that one first before they move on Honorable Defiamepo's injunction. These two injunctions, they can't deal with it.
What if the Supreme Court sits on Honorable Defiamepo next week?
That clearly will show that Supreme Court is picking and choosing. The first injunction was done weeks before the second one. So in the interest of fairness, they cannot pick the other one and the one that was filed first and deal with it before they move on to they have to do the first one before they move on to the second one. But even most importantly, I'm of the view that the president must recognize the constitutional provisions. And the constitutional provisions is clear. The fact that Parliament cannot be stopped he has breached the constitution. And the NDC minority has taken note of it. And the right time, we would take the needed steps to address the unconstitutionality and the breaches that the president has. And yesterday, I signaled that we will stop at nothing, but to ensure that our president, the one who has sworn to protect the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, obeys the Constitution and deals with it. So in the coming days, you'll hear from us as to what we will do.
Dr. Kessela Tufosin, thank you very much for your time this morning. All right, so if you're looking for a toothpaste that will take care of all the family and save money, the recommended family toothpaste is KEL 360 toothpaste, approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. KEL 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. KEL 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using KEL 360 toothpaste. KEL 360 toothpaste and is available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 0246 864 798. KEL 360 toothpaste. Happy smile. And the pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages, but worry no more. Lift and Elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lift and Elevators at Sakumon or just call them on 0200-535-515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. And Estate Masters Limited is giving a 10% discount on all their lands. Their lands are located at Ningo Pram, close to the Central University, and Chopoli, close to the Saglemi. Affordable housing, and they start from 25,000 Ghana cedis and 12,000 Ghana cedis. You can contact Estate Masters Limited on 0500-304-447. Then when we return, I just want you guys to, cease and desist. We'll be back shortly.
I told you.
This is a call to you. The dreamers. The ones that dare to challenge the status quo. When others try to think outside the box, you wonder, what box?
Catch the wave, enjoy the ride.
To the architects of their journeys. Every connection is an opportunity to explore every experience. This is your call to adventure. Your journey begins here. Be bold, be daring, be free. Connecting passions, connecting dreams, connecting ambitions. Telecel, connecting energies.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bets. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the partial daily jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
10 years in business, Appointed Time Printing Limited has delivered quality service to some of Ghana's well-known brands. With our equipment capacity, we are able to deliver 1,500 all creative designs and billboards, 3D signages, flexi banners, car branding, stickers, and posters, locate us at the old GNTC building near Swansea Shopping Arcade, Accra. Contact us on 0501 454165, 0501 454167. Connect with us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Appointed Time GH, Appointed Time Printing Limited. Our printing is a...
In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
You so feeling Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360. Good morning, Ghana, live on Metro TV. So with me on the show, I have the Honorable Dr. Dixon Adumako Kisi and the Honorable Roxanne Nelson Defemakbo. Now, what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, as God and Mullah got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on their website at www.gameparkgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers. From 0 to 9, it's easy to play and easy to win. So let me play this game and make some moolah. Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Game Park Games, more moolah, more power. Ghana, on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. This is not for persons under 18 and is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. And Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been tested and tried. It is indeed the best. Blue Jeans Energy Drink is for bold and active men and women. So go and grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208-128-190 or 055-001-0000. All right. Roxanne.
Yes. Doc, first of all, let me rebut a couple of things Doc said.
I didn't rebut anything.
Yes, but you said certain things that I need to rebut. Look, it's not correct that Parliament's hands should be stayed in respect of this matter. If you recall the Act 1012, that's the emergency, the COVID-19 emergency law, people went to court. Government was injuncted, but government proceeded, got it passed. That is stampeded Parliament. We passed it under emergency and the certificate of urgency. He assented to it and proceeded to issue what we call LI 64. Eventually, when the Supreme Court determined the matter and declared that the law was unconstitutional in respect of the relief sought by the plaintiffs, the law was struck down. Everything consequent on the law, everything had been struck down. It's no longer part of our laws. So that can be done. Then 2, this argument that e-levy is a government-sponsored bill which consequently got passed by Parliament into a law and therefore has the backing of the state and a law sponsored by private members. There's no such distinction in our constitution. The final product is what will have to be looked at. So if or public or government sponsored, and it goes through the strictures of lawmaking and gets to third reading, passed, edited properly, remitted, certified to the office of the president for assent, it becomes a product of parliament. So that distinction that you guys have been led into, and you are in, and all of you are talking about it, that e-levy is a government-sponsored law. But it's neither here nor there. It becomes a final product of parliament.
No, but the fact still remains.
No, but that is not a fact that you can.
The origin.
No, yes, but the origin is immaterial.
The timing.
No, it is immaterial.
Because in one breath,
yes,
I am in agreement with Sam George.
Yeah.
In earlier years of Sam George, when he said that Ghanaians, we have issues of potholes, manholes, electricity staying on, water and these things, and that this issue should not be a front burner issue. That one I'm still in agreement with him.
Let me make my point.
How do we refer to a front burner? Has it prevented us from doing anything?
It is what it is.
No, I will address that matter. Then
it is consequential. I mean, basically, based on what has happened.
You let me
now
finish.
We don't have
you let me finish.
Our ministers.
You let me finish.
The way I was excited about meeting
you let me
Okoboy
finish.
after tomorrow.
When we were speaking, I was quiet. So let me finish. Then again, Article 108 is very clear. Oko is my friend too, but it's nothing personal.
Everything.
Let me read Article 108 to your understanding.
It's painful.
Article 108 is very clear. It says, Parliament shall not, unless the bill is introduced or the motion is introduced by or on behalf of the President, A, proceed upon a bill.
Even the 8 months we said is small. Now you people have reduced.
Hold on. Proceed upon a bill including an amendment to a bill. That in the opinion.
You have reduced the 8 months.
Wait. That in the opinion of the person presiding. This argument about a charge on the consolidated fund. This is the roadblock. If this roadblock is cleared,
very good gentlemen like us who are married, have kids, when we end up in jail, for lack of a better word, become, coerced or change our behavior to then become, people who mate with men. And by that, sending these people to Interim is literally taking a drug addict to a drug house. And these are arguments that he has made.
Can I finish? So I'm saying your argument that this bill will occasion a charge on the consolidated fund, on the public fund, is neither here nor there. That is why, in the opinion of the person,
if you jail somebody,
no, Doc.
Let me cost to the state.
How is that a cost? The Constitution says a charge. Okay, in the opinion of the person presiding, makes provision for any of the following: the imposition of a charge on the consolidated fund. What is a charge?
Don't we pay?
What is a charge? No, what is a charge?
A charge is basically a bill. I mean a cost.
Thank you.
Implication. Once you jail somebody for even two that the state needs to pay for, it's not. You're saying that it's not cost to the
government.
But
the state will cost
everything will come at a cost. Because even the paper that the A4 sheet that will be printed.
Thank you.
It is a cost to the state.
So
if we are going to
that is not
interpret
the kind of
as anything that comes at a cost.
No, I think some of the minimum. Some of the minimum sentences.
In fact, we've all been to law school. We've all done constitutional law, and we even wrote exams on this.
No, the minimum sentence.
Hold on.
That we're asking
No,
for
we are not talking about the content of the bill. This thing, it took Dr. Aini. I think about 2 weeks ago. So it took Dr. Aini with arguments. Then he took his time to explain. Then I understood that no. The general interpretation that we place on this
is erroneous.
Erroneous.
Agreed.
It's totally erroneous.
But it's still the case.
Because anything done will come at a cost.
Yes.
So that is not in my lecture. It took him to.
No, I mean.
Then I agree with
either way, it's a cost.
And I have since
desisted.
No, I have since grabbed that interpretation, and so that is.
Now you see, there is something that is lost.
But wait, foregone earnings will also be an element we need to consider, in the sense that after this bill was put out, then Finance Ministry came with some numbers in attachment to this.
Are you saying that?
You understand? Which
are you
also
saying that when the framers of the Constitution speak about the financial implications on the state, it also includes
foregone earnings.
How?
Oh, in fact, Constitution didn't use. We have been transposing the phrase financial implications.
But
it says
not
a
just
chart.
financial.
No, it says a chart.
I understand you.
Yes. Doctor says, so when you say financial implications, you fall into that error.
Yes. It is part
but if you stick to the word, the phrase, a chart
on the consolidated fund,
then you are home and dry. So, indeed, a lot of state-owned entities that have been incorporated privately. But like you said, we have run into a limbo.
Look, and this issue of the executive and legislature relationship and whatever.
Two elephants.
And for me, is the bigger implication on
the ordinary citizen.
The respect for the Constitution.
Okay. Yes.
The supremacy of the Constitution.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, the total well-being of the Ghanaian.
Yes.
And especially the consolidation of democracy.
Yes.
Now, we are told that this is only subsequent to the issue of 4 earlier bills that are currently in abeyance.
Yes.
As a result of a similar,
in fact, 3.
A similar thing by the president.
Yes. And that one, Doc, it took the president nearly 6 months to act pursuant to Article 106.
There was one of them that he had even accented.
Yeah, we discussed it here about a month ago. I brought the evidence.
Unbeknownst to him.
Unbeknownst to him.
Unbeknownst to who?
To the president.
That he had assented.
You see, the bill came on the 2nd of August.
And forwarded same to Parliament.
Yes. So we have a copy. You know, when you do that, you must remit it for...
So he did?
He did.
So how does he then write back to say that I will not assent?
So perhaps he's recanting. In that sense, that's what it's saying.
But does the Constitution allow...
There's no such provision. That's the point I made like a month ago.
That's not the process.
So at every point, the president creates his own...
Thank you. He creates his
He
own...
amends the Constitution, all this.
The law memo is before Speaker.
In truthfulness...
Which is in complete breach of the Constitution.
If we look at many of the presidential assents, some have gone beyond the 40. I mean, if we audit from
no, that's not even the
point.
But
that's not the issue.
First of all,
that's not the issue.
The processes.
So you agree?
No,
first of all, the processes in going through this thing. Obviously, the Attorney General would be a part of this process. I'm not sure that there will be any such bill. That Attorney General will not be interested, and I'm not sure that the president will assent to any of this without the input of the Attorney General.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on what basis the president signed? Did he assent and remit same to
In fact, our bill, Doc, hold on. In fact, our bill, this bill, the Ghanaian Family Values Bill, the Attorney General has been part of it through and through at the committee stage. And look, I will send you his opinion. Right? I will send you his opinion. He actually sent us an opinion on some of the key provisions. As a reason, argue that it's a private member didn't get the input. It's also incorrect because we've had heavy input from the office of the AG. Now, the other matter I want to address is that the issue of the vetting. The vetting is an incomplete parliamentary process.
Correct.
In fact, it's the second phase. The first phase is to be invited.
Correct.
The second phase is to actually go through the vetting process. The third phase will be the submission of the committee report. The fourth phase will be the debate. And the final phase is for the report to be adopted by resolution in Parliament. So we haven't gone anywhere. So I am right.
But we're in limbo.
Yes, I am right in placing it in limbo. If the work of Parliament can be placed in limbo, how is it not possible that the work of the Executive Council be placed in limbo?
We were hoping to be exemplary.
You hope against hope.
We were hoping.
No, you hope against hope.
More exemplary.
You hope against hope. So
since we know what is right.
So Doc, you walk yourself into this disaster with the legislature, redefines relationship with the judiciary, so we can coexist peacefully.
We all have to.
That is the essence of the constitutionalism that we have decided to.
So we'll both reflect. Government will reflect. Parliament.
We are saying that per the logic
But
of the presidency.
We reflected and
No,
we
no, hold
acted.
on. We are saying that per the logic of the presidency, we will apply his logic mutatis mutandis.
Oh.
That's what we do.
Which means two wrongs will make a right.
No, that is not two wrongs.
That's what he's saying.
We'll say that we apply your reasoning and logic in the same manner that you are applying it.
That is true. And you say that our logic is wrong.
Yes.
Then why apply
But
our
that
But
is the
you
logic.
don't agree that
Yes.
it's wrong.
No.
In fact, in the statement by the
he
majority,
who knows what is right and decides not to do.
in fact, in the
and
statement,
he who doesn't know.
in your statement,
I'm asking you.
in this statement,
Doc, I'm asking
no,
you.
I'm just saying.
He who knows what is right.
No, what
and decides not to
what
do.
I'm just trying to point out to you. What I'm just trying to point out to you is that your statement here.
No. Per the elaborative work of the speaker, he knows what is right, but decides to do what he says is wrong. He's doing it.
Speaker,
that is where I say he's inconsistent.
Now, Kisi, finally, let me land.
Yes.
Look, it's also not correct. The erroneous impression conveyed by
150 million.
Yes, the majority via a statement. I have in my hand 23rd February order paper.
Yes.
As part of the businesses on the order paper, in consonance with the text message he got, we have listed motions and businesses, including motion number 44, interstate subsection bill.
I want to.
That law, sponsored by government, it stayed on the order paper for nearly 2 months.
And even the legal one.
They didn't see it fit to pursue it. Honorable Muntaka is so interested in this legislation, has so many advertised amendments. The Honorable Muntaka every day, the minority that champions bills consideration. But when you come to the floor, it is us.
This one too.
So sometimes you hear me on my feet that how come the majority are not interested in the bill that they themselves have brought and we are considering. If you check the hands, it's me, it's in your hand for Dr. Aini, Senior Yariga, shows that we have been. So when you say that consideration of bills have suffered, the bills have suffered because you refuse to prioritize them even though they are government bills. That's the point I'm making. I've shown you one evidence since February. They haven't pursued it.
We need to go. Is that you're looking for 150 million from IDA?
It is part of.
Okay. Do you know the current gold prices?
We'll talk about it.
And you know how much money that's
Minerals Commission will come and talk.
Okay. So
they know. They can
stay
tell you.
tuned. Up next is a conversation with the Minerals Commission. Thanks, gentlemen, for joining me. We'll be back shortly.